Hello, Pile One. Welcome. Thank you for being here. So, let's get started on your reading. Oh, interesting. I'm just burning a little bit of dried lavender that I grew in my pots on my patio this summer, just to sort of cleanse the space before we start. A little bit fell off. So, right away, what I'm getting with your reading is I'm really drawn to the Judgment card at the top of this cross spread that we have here. This is an ideal that you're being encouraged to focus on right now, and I'm really getting the sense that you are being drawn into like a kind of calling, especially like a work calling. With the 8 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, there's something that you are trying to work towards and create and craft. And I think that what you're feeling right now is a little bit, or you have been feeling recently, some disappointment in how things have been going. But currently where you're at right now is kind of in this process of trying to focus on the positive rather than the negative, because you know that that is technically, like the right thing to do, the thing that will really help you to move forward into success. So what you're being encouraged to do, I'm really getting the message that like you need to, that the main point of this reading, like right away before we talk about anything else, is to tap you into that vision that you have for your life's purpose and for your calling, and like trusting in that and knowing that that is absolutely what you're meant to be doing. Because I think that you do know. With the High Priestess crossed in the center, this shows that your intuition is actually in some ways what's blocking you, and your ability to read the signs and to know what they mean. So I think that you might actually have some trouble in trusting your own intuition and trusting that you know what you are meant to be doing right now. What can ground you in this process of releasing the inner barriers to success is tapping into this like love and romance that you have for what you do. This is really, really important for you in this process because it taps you into your creativity and your life force. I think in general, creative practice will be really helpful in grounding you through this. I'm not sure if you have a creative business or not, but this is definitely like the Knight of Cups energy is all about love and creativity and romance and offers and having an open heart. And I think that what is really going to be grounding you in this process is tapping into that inner artist and inner lover of life and inner lover of self, and really making sure that you are doing your self-care practices and everything, as well as being open to love and relationships. If you have a healthy relationship right now in your life, whether it's a friendship, family, or a lover, this is a sign that you are meant to be really allowing that to hold you while you reach like to these heights that you're really dreaming of, this calling that you're trying to build from the ground up, or something that you've been working towards for a while. But yeah, it's a really clear message already. What you're being encouraged to leave behind is the 4 of Swords here, and that's an energy of sort of like rest. But I think because usually it's rest. Sorry, I'm just thinking about what this means, because usually the 4 of Swords is about rest and recuperation after like a lifetime or a time of stress. And it's an honorable practice to rest. It's a good thing to do. It's something that you deserve. It's something that is beneficial for you and for the rejuvenation of your energy, and something you deserve. But with it in reverse, I think maybe you have some guilt about rest, and so some like shame around it, or guilt, or thinking that there isn't time for that. So I think that what you're being encouraged to let go of is in fact that attitude towards taking time out to just be at ease with the way that things are right now, and to just let yourself rest when you need it, and really trust in the timing of things. What you're being encouraged to open up to and expand more into or expand with and kind of open up to this energy is the Four of Pentacles in reversed, which is suggesting that there's been some tension in your finances, or you've been feeling a little bit like financially restricted, and you're being encouraged to open up a little bit more. With the Four of Cups or Four of Pentacles in reverse, especially in a position where it's suggesting what you should be doing more of, I feel that there is kind of an energy of looking at your finances from a little bit of a different perspective. So something that will help you to kind of tap into the inner barriers that you're facing towards your own success. An energy that will help you do that is working with like abundance mindset stuff. So thinking about money and thinking about abundance in a way that is more abundance focused rather than lack focused, if that makes sense. So being grateful for what you do have and focusing on what is coming in at all times will allow you to stay in that energy of abundance and will help this process of building what you want to build come to life. Because when we're stuck in this state of thinking that everything is not enough, that there isn't enough, that there's never enough, and that we're really, I mean, I have to say lots of us are really struggling right now. Like the economy in a lot of places is really shit, and if you're a creative, especially if you're an entrepreneur, like starting a business can be extremely scary and frightening, because especially when there's not enough money to support that process and you feel really burnt out and you feel drained and you're not really sure like how to build your skill set if you can't pay for courses, blah blah blah. Like I really get that, I understand. So it's not about completely ignoring or bypassing those realities, but it is about staying grounded in that sense of magic and love and wonder about what you do have. And it's just a shift in mindset. It's really just a shift in like deciding to spend more time, more of your thoughts on those kinds of thoughts, on thoughts around what you do have and what you're grateful for, rather than spending the time worrying and being embittered about what is not working. It really will help, I think, to keep you in this state of alignment towards your dreams and towards the work that you're supposed to be doing in the world. Overall, I think what really is the big message here, which I think is reflected very strongly in what you're supposed to be kind of letting go of, is this: she tames by lying down the staff and rope. This card here. It's just so beautiful. This card is about letting go of control in order for things to work out more smoothly. So if things you've been trying so hard to get something to go a certain way or to work a certain way or to do something, and it's just not happening, or it's just not working. If you can think of somebody trying to train an animal, tame something that's wild, you're trying to create something, and the struggle and force and kind of lack mentality around why isn't this working? Why aren't any of my efforts working? Every time I try and do something, it kind of fails. Am I doing this right? And you're questioning where you're at with it. That kind of energy isn't going to help anymore. What is going to help is laying down that kind of like really anxious, active approach and allowing the process to sort of unfold more naturally and from a place of love and openness and curiosity and excitement with yourself as well as with whatever you're trying to create. I also think that paying too much attention to what isn't working or the lack of response when you do create something, it doesn't really help at all. So I think all of that does is, if you focus on that, all it does is it just makes you feel like you're struggling, right? Like you are inside the experience of struggle when you're focusing on that. And I think what you're being really encouraged to do right now is just to keep trusting in your intuition and in the process that you have already started, because it is absolutely the right track. That's what the Judgment card suggests here. And just to let go of control a little bit and to allow the process to unfold while you stay centered, while you stay present, while you stay showing up. Because if you're showing up like a patient, present, like lover to this project that you're creating or bringing into the world, it will open up to you as well in time. It's just, that's an inevitability. It won't desert you. That's not going to happen. This is like a law, right? Because when you're on the right track, you know you're on the right track. You're in alignment. You just need to allow yourself to be in that space of alignment. You need to not fight it and just be patient with the process. It's reminding me a lot of this, like these horse trainer people that I came across like a few years ago, who they tamed like traumatized horses through this process of, like, I think they called it like the trust process or something. And they would go one at a time, like I think it was started by this man, I can't remember his name right now, and he would go and he would sit in the same pasture as this traumatized animal. And the animal would be like pretty far away from him for a while, like probably like 20 yards away, maybe, starting, because that was its safety distance that it wanted to keep between it and him. And he would just lay on the ground and he'd just sit there and he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't try and do anything to make the horse feel comfortable or to make the horse do what he wanted. He just sat in the same vicinity. And over time, like over the span of an hour maybe, the horse would like edge up closer to him. And then the most remarkable things would occur. Like it would come and it would nuzzle up close to him. And this would be like a horse that has been violent to humans for like most of its life because of how it was treated. And it was terrified of humans, like absolutely terrified, didn't trust anyone. And it wouldn't let anyone touch them. And it would be like nuzzling and cuddling him and stuff because he allowed that space for it to come at its own pace and in its own time. And that can be the same process happens in relationships with people and with humans and lovers and friends, and also with the things that we create in the world, because everything is connected in this way, right? Everything is a reflection and a refraction of something else. And the way that we can approach a relationship or approach an animal is similar to how we can approach a business. And I think it's really, or whatever you're trying to create, I think that that's what you're really being encouraged to do. And that energy is so beautiful. It's really, really peaceful. So let go of the stress or the strain that you have around taking on that energy, around stepping into that energy of restfulness and ease and trust and surrender. Let go of any kind of strain and like angst that you might have around being like that, and step more into a sense of openness and a sense of gratitude. And be careful with the money that you have. It's not saying like go and spend your money recklessly, do whatever you want. It's definitely not saying that, because clearly the resources are a little skint right now, and that's okay. It's just about focusing the mind towards what is working and what feels good and what is there and what you can play with and what is already present, and really having like a devotional love for those kinds of things. Like I think really practicing prayer and practicing gratitude and practicing real like reciprocal love and saying, hi universe, hi God, hi world, I see what you are giving me. I see what's here, and I really appreciate it. I think it's so beautiful. Isn't this wonderful? And just being in that state is so liberating, and that's going to tap you back into your the inner barrier and release it, which is this distrust of your own intuition, of your own knowledge. You seem to be really struggling with self-belief, I think, because the high priestess is all about her own. She has such strong self-esteem. She knows that she is the one to give this message, or the one to hold these mysteries, to know how things are unfolding and why. And if that is what is crossing you, I think that you might be either reading into things too much and trying to take on other people's opinions about what is happening in your life and what you're trying to do here. And or you're just not trusting that part of you that already knows and is already tapped into that deep intuition. Because what you're creating right now is so valuable, not only to others, it's also valuable to you. Like, it's going to create money. It's gold, right? Like, that's what I'm getting. It's like you're creating gold and you know it. And I think that not only do you know it, it's not just like you're creating something to make money. This is something that's a soul path for you. Like with the High Priestess and Judgment, this is deeply, deeply, deeply significant to your mission on earth, like to why you even were born, like what you planned before birth. This is something that is a spiritual matter for you. And the barriers within you are self-criticism around allowing it to unfold in the time that it might take, and allowing your pace to be maybe a little slower than what you think people want from you or what you think you need to be. It's also about an inner barrier around not trusting your intuition for some reason, and not trusting that you already know where you're going, and that it's just a matter of being grateful for the opportunity to do these things in the world and to love in this way and show up in this way. Now let's see, what can you do to release? Just one more card. What can you do to release or to heal the root? Oh my goodness gracious. Literally all the cards just fell out. What can you do to heal the root of this inner barrier? Is there a healing process that we haven't talked about already for group 1? Is there a healing process? Okay, so we have 6 of Cups. It came out in reverse, and Death reversed on the bottom of the deck. So 6 of Cups is about memory and childhood. And okay, so I think that these inner barriers are for sure, just like so many of people's inner barriers, it's definitely rooted in childhood wounding, probably around trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. I think a lot of children are trained out of trusting their intuition, especially when they come to adults and they talk about their experience, or they talk about something that's happening for them, and they get either shut down, they get laughed at, or they get told that that's not true straight up, that what they're seeing is not true, or they're yelled at. Even, it can get really bad. They can get really dismissed or neglected. And I think that that's what this might be attached to in you really deeply. It might be around some old wounds that stem from your childhood around being neglected and dismissed, especially around your own sense of self-trust. You may have experienced a lot of shame, or shaming rather, or like conflict when you tried to assert your boundaries, or you tried to assert your sense, your intuition about something, and people got mad, or people just devalued your intuition, or what you felt was true and good for yourself. And that is what is stopping you right now from just allowing this beautiful process to unfold with ease. You're really struggling to trust yourself and to trust the spiritual guidance that you've been getting as well. I think you probably also might feel that you can't trust others, and that you can't trust the spirit or in the universe to be guiding you, especially if you are stepping into a role that feels really spiritually significant for you and big on like a soul level. You might think, this can't be real, this can't be right, like I can't possibly be this important or like this valuable, or I can't possibly be the one to do this, like there's probably someone else. All these things are self-worth issues that are tied to wounding in your childhood. So there are a lot of processes for healing the inner child and healing the wounds that we acquired when we were really little and teenagers and stuff. And that's something that I do. So if you do need help, you can always reach out to me and we can work on that together in the safe space of like one-on-one depth coaching. I do a trauma-informed approach, so it's a really sensitive and gentle process of really getting to the core of what is holding us back. But there are lots of other resources. There's lots of like free resources. There's lots of other somatic therapists and coaches and people who do shadow work that you can work with, or you can do it yourself. There's lots of free meditations and stuff available on YouTube and elsewhere. Journaling is also a really good way of getting, of understanding where you're at. I have a lot of journal prompts that I like send out through my Substack and newsletter, so you can always subscribe to that. It's free. And journaling specifically about our experiences when we were kids can help us get really clear on what we experienced and how it might be affecting us now. And with the death reversed as part of the healing process that is available to you right now, this is a really, really healing and beautiful card. Even when it's upright, I love the death card because it means transformation. But that can be really scary when it's in the upright, because transformation sometimes comes at you when you're not ready, when you're not expecting it, and that can be really disorienting. But in reverse, it's like, this is about returning. It's instead of changing into something new or foreign, it's about returning to yourself. That's what this is about. That's why I was saying all this stuff about childhood wounds. It's about going backwards into the past in order to heal and mend what was like rent, and what was left abandoned and neglected in you, and repairing that and actually giving life back to those parts of yourself, repairing the life of those little kids inside you and those teenagers and even those like adults. Sometimes things happen to us when we're adults that stick with us and change the way we show up in the world. So that is the process of going back into the past, into the shadow realm, the place where things feel like they don't exist, but they are there, like the invisible things, and digging into the darkness of what we reject in ourselves, what we have been rejecting, what we fear, and finding compassion and love for those parts. That's what you're being encouraged to do in order to release these inner barriers. So if you have any more questions about that, you can always reach out to me in any way, or access my work in other ways if you want, or just go out there and feel your way through things. I think you're going to be okay. This is a really beautiful process that's going to make you feel really, really enriched in your life, and also it's just going to make you feel even more confident on your path moving forward. So thank you, Pile 1 people, for being here, and I wish you all the best in this endeavor, and I hope that we can connect again soon. Okay, bye. Hello, Pile 2 people. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to burn a little bit of dried lavender just to clear the energy. It's lavender that I grew in my pot on my deck this summer, and I really love the smell of it. Okay, so let's start your reading. So the inner barriers to success that you are currently dealing with right now are, I think, this is really interesting because your energy is so hopeful in this reading. It's really, really, really exciting. It's beautiful. But I do think that you might be experiencing a moment of assessment and perhaps wondering whether something is at the end or not, and you don't even really I don't think you're really sure about how you feel. This is more, almost the whole reading has a focus on money and on resource, like energy and excitement and vision. I'm really drawn to your oracle card. The grandmother dragonfly holds the wisdom. This is such a stunning card. And what I was really drawn to was the sunflowers that are dying and decaying at the foot of this girl. And then all these beautiful dragonflies and this old woman, her grandmother, I suppose, focusing on the dragonflies. Looks like she's holding one in her hand, maybe. And sunflowers represent life, and they represent life force and summertime and being attuned to the sun and the sun's power. And when they die, it's like, okay, this season is over. The season of life force is over. The season of like bounty and excitement is done. And it's a little bit sad. But what sunflowers give us at the ends of their life are an abundance of sunflower seeds, like just so many sunflower seeds, which are food for us and for like lots of other creatures. And then they can be composted and they can help grow new things. So there's this big message of sort of rejuvenation. And I'm really getting this very like earthy plant energy, a plant focused energy. I don't know if you're a gardener or if you are actually thinking about like if a garden of some kind is part of this success that you are trying to reach. But this guy here, the 7 of Pentacles, he's looking at what he has grown so far. He's looking at his harvest or what he is currently growing. It's not quite the harvest yet. He's looking at the vines and he's assessing how well they're doing and whether they need more water, whether they need less this or that. And some of the leaves look a little browned, and so some of the things maybe aren't working out quite as he planned. And he's wondering, is this going to be okay or not? Is this going to grow more fruit? Is this going to be a fruitful harvest? And the placement of this card actually in your reading is on an energy of what you should be opening up to and expanding more into and being open to. And so to have that kind of energy of assessment and looking at something with care and also criticism, just in the sense of like what is working, what isn't, that seems to be what you're actually being encouraged to open up into that space. So I'm just going to keep reading and then we'll see how that resonates a little further in. You're definitely focused on creating a beautiful vision of success, abundance, and wealth. That is absolutely true, with this 10 of Pentacles right at the center of what you're trying to create right now and where you're at. I think you actually may already be a success in some way. You may have built a lot for yourself already. And your inner block to success is like this perspective on what do you do next? What is the next best move? With the 2 of Wands crossing that. The 2 of Wands is looking at this world. Again, lots of people looking at stuff, inspecting things. And you're wondering, what do I do now? Is there more? Is there something more that I can be doing to make this come more into fruition, or to rejuvenate it, or to build on it? Is this the end of its life, or is this a new beginning? And I think that what the cards are telling you is that this is a new beginning, especially with the Fool. Ooh, and the Star and the Sun under there. Oh my, and the Page of Cups. Holy moly, these cards are beautiful. So I'm just going to say right now, you guys have nothing to worry about. Clearly, you're like completely blessed. But let's do this reading anyway, lol. You definitely are in a place of stepping into a new, just a new experience of life, building on what you've already created, building on something that has already been successful. And you're being, you are definitely being led into a place of more activity, and also of maybe doing 2 things at once, or doing something new, incorporating something new into the routine, into what you've already become good at. With the 2 of Pentacles topping off the reading in this position of what your ideal is right now that you can be keeping your mind on, what you can be, it's sort of like the ball that you can keep your eye on, to stay positive. This 2 of Pentacles is interesting because it's saying keep your eye on, keep focusing on the excitement of balancing many things, which for a lot of people I think might be stressful, but for you there's a form of play in it. You're also, you're creating more with the infinity loop around these 2 pentacles. It's like you have momentum, and I think that's what you actually are wanting to, what you're really moving towards, or what your vision of success is really about, is about not only sustaining what you've already created, but creating more of it, and really locking it in as this thing that doesn't end, making sure that it's permanent. So I think right now what you're feeling, or what you're maybe experiencing, is feeling a little bit like trying to plan the next stage, knowing that one aspect of the plan has been fulfilled, and kind of trying to figure out what the next form of life it will take will be. And so the inner block to success in this sense is, I think, an over focus on trying to plan, because I think that what is going to be occurring will naturally happen. I don't know if there's much that you can do, but we'll pull a little bit more cards around that in a bit. You are definitely being, so what can ground you in this process of releasing these inner barriers, and when you're moving into this form of success that's coming for you, is the Ace of Cups. That's what's the grounding energy for you. So your grounding energy is about keeping your heart open, keeping the wisdom that you have flowing through you, keep that channel clear, knowing that you are totally in alignment, and feeling that way, feeling like you're cleansing yourself of sticky emotional matters, of sticky things that sort of block you from remembering how tapped in you really are with the universe. I think there's a lot of water here. I'm getting a lot of water stuff, like symbolism. So taking showers, swimming, drinking really clean water, that's like physical stuff that will ground you. Water is going to be really important in this process of flushing out stuff, that emotional stuff or physical stuff that is blocking your energy. You have this dichotomy between, it's about flow, right? So you have this dichotomy between grounding yourself through practices that are cleansing and hydrating, literally and figuratively, and then also keeping that momentum going, keep it going, like a juggler or something, like a loop. And that's kind of what you're keeping your eye on. That's the vision that you're keeping and holding while you ground with these like cleansing practices. Another cleansing practice, if you are a spiritual person, there are lots of spiritual purification practices we can do with. There's so many different kinds, lots that are rooted in very old traditions of religion and spirituality, that you can, whatever you're drawn to works for you. But the use of water, prayer, smoke, lots of other things like movement, certain somatic practices really cleanse the body of, and massage, things like that. So yeah, there's lots of different things that you can do, but cleansing and keeping your heart and your mind and your your spiritual channel open. Like, this is really, really important. I don't know if you do chakra work, but chakras are a huge part of keeping that life force flowing, that creative energy flowing, that I can see that you are already familiar with. So doing chakra work in general, whether that's just keeping them open, keeping energy flowing through that, Kundalini yoga, all that kind of stuff will be really grounding for you. That was a long spiel. What you are being encouraged to let go of right now is this 9 of Wands card right here in the reverse. So the 9 of Wands is usually, when it's upright, it's a caution. It's being in a state of cautiousness or wariness, and a little bit of exhaustion, fatigue after being through quite a lot, being a little bit guarded. In the reverse, you are releasing right now, or you're being encouraged to release. There's a tension here that I'm getting. Tension. Let me just tap into it just a little bit more. Give me a second. Yeah. I need to pull a card for that. I'm going to keep that Fool there because I like it. Can you clarify the Nine of Wands, please? Okay. Ooh, japers. So the Three of Swords and, oh, upright, yeah. Page of Swords. Okay. So, so there's been some like pain that you've experienced, like maybe relationship pain or painful thoughts, painful thinking practices. That's what this is. This is self-talk. This is internal dialogues that make you feel stressed out, that make you feel really like you haven't been doing enough, or that you're not doing things right, or like good enough. This is what you need to be letting go of for sure. It's not just like relationship pain. That's actually not what I'm getting at all. I'm really getting, I mean, that might also be the case. If so, that might be tied up in this stuff. But like, I'm really getting like letting go of like harsh self-talk for sure. And like thoughts, inner dialogue. This is like inner critic stuff that makes you feel like you need to overwork and you need to like beat yourself up if things don't go according to your plan, or if they don't go like as good as they should have gone. It might be like a long-standing occurrence or practice for you, which is not a healthy practice, of like, as you've been building this project or this life that you've clearly built so far. I think that in some ways how you've got there has included this kind of like inner tension around, just this like inner talk that is painful. Or if it's not that you're talking to yourself like that, it's that you have had this wounding, this tension inside you that comes from like psychological pain, that comes from wounds that are like stuck in your mind, that kind of recycle themselves. And I think that I really am getting that you need to investigate how, or kind of start paying attention to how you're talking to yourself, and let go of thoughts that make you feel like bad about yourself. I think that, or bad about things in general, or that things, and like to worry. I think that this is also about worrying. So like letting go of worry in general. If that's all that resonated after everything I just said, then that's, because that feels really strong for me too. So that could just be your message, is to let go of worry and overthinking with the Page of Swords here, with all his thoughts around his head. He's just thinking, and you just you got to quiet that mind. I think that's also what the Ace of Cups is referring to as a grounding practice. This is about meditation, because when you're in the state of meditation, of mindfulness meditation, or any kind of meditation really, but like if you're meditating, you're opening that channel up, you're allowing life force energy to flow through you like prana, or as prana, as breath, as life, and you're just being there, and you're allowing yourself to become that channel to the universe. That is extremely grounding for someone who's an overthinker, and for someone who's a bit of a self-critic, or someone who has like painful thinking practices that just cause them to feel not so good about themselves. Like, meditate for sure. Okay? So can we just get a healing practice? I think that's the last thing that we'll really look at for your reading. What is a healing practice that group 2 people can focus on while they release the inner barriers to success? What is the healing practice? What is the healing practice that group 2 can... Is this a card? Okay, what is the healing practice for group 2? Release the inner barrier. Oh, there's so many cards. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Ace of Pentacles and the Chariot on the bottom of the deck. Okay. The Ace of Pentacles is your healing practice. This is really cool. You guys have a really like bright, strong energy. I think that you are definitely already successful in some way. You for sure have reached a kind of success. The Ace of Pentacles is here as your healing practice. I think to enjoy that success, to really enjoy that, to celebrate, and to really to focus in on your value, your own sense of value, and what you have already brought to the world, and really, I think, take a big long, like a really juicy session where you're just assessing your accomplishments. I think that's like really important for you. Um, the chariot is symbolized by so many things. It's full of so much symbolism, but I do think of the planets, of the forces of like the celestial forces, and the chariot of the sun or the chariot of the moon in different mythologies, and how there's these gods that like drive the planets across the sky, and it's the force of fate and also the force of eternity, this theme of eternity, of making something last, of something that's permanent. This Ace of Pentacles card is about bringing something physical into the world, something of real value, something that is made of matter and that lasts. And so your healing practice is to ground into your inner power and what is already locked in. I actually do think that you are being encouraged to play with and study into astrology, like your astrology in particular, and maybe some planetary movements that are going on that have significance for you in your chart. If you don't really know much about astrology, there's so many resources out there, like on YouTube and on the internet in general. There's lots of astrologers. I also know quite a bit about astrology, so if you do want like some context and some help, like with your own chart or with certain transits that are going on for you right now, I can totally help with that. That's something I've been studying for like 17 years. But in general, like this is a really cool sort of like a rabbit hole that you can go down for yourself and start learning about on your own. I think another healing practice for you is tapping into mythology, tapping into stories, legends, things that you can really associate yourself with that feel empowering and feel lasting, and like you can shapeshift into these heroes and gods and goddesses. Like you are part of the universe. Your value is who you are. It's inherent to you. You know what I mean? And you can find new forms of yourself when you tap into those empowering archetypes. There's a lot of mystery that you are being encouraged to tap into and understand. A lot of wealth of knowledge in the esoteric and just in general, in literature and stories and your imagination and in the world itself at large. And if you're interested in space, go for it. I mean, I think that's like weirdly, like the planets and the cosmic archetypes. If I don't know, this might be interesting to you or it might not be, but you can take it however you want. I am really getting an energy with this Chariot card of story and legend and magic and myth being, and history as well. History being something that you can tap into that will be a healing practice for you, which is really cool to think about, that like a learning opportunity or a diving into things that make you feel inspired and empowered is a healing practice. Like that's really cool. I love that. That's so cool and exciting. Also make stuff if you want, cook, take care of your body, go out in nature, be in the world. I think that's what the Ace of Pentacles is also saying as your healing practice right now, to really help you to bolster this quote unquote inner barrier that you're experiencing, to help release that inner barrier or transform it, so that you can really accomplish what you want to accomplish. Do those things. Go and be out in the world and interact with the world in its present state, in its past state, in the invisible realms, in the physical realms, all that. And that's going to help you to keep your eye on what you're already doing, what you've already created, and incorporating new life into things. I think that's also, this is your last thing, the last thing I'm going to say, because I think this is what ties it all in together. That healing practice that we've just been talking about, that is going to rejuvenate your imagination. It's going to inspire you, and that inspiration that you get by discovering new things and learning new things and thinking about things in new ways and in magical ways, that will literally that's gonna, not interject, that's going to like inject your project, business, like life or whatever, with new life, with like a new form of life with these little dragonflies. It's going to be like zap of energy, and it will bring new ideas to you. That's what's going to keep the ball rolling, is staying inspired and staying attuned to yourself and to the universe and the world, and just keeping that connection really, really clear. That's going to get the ideas flowing, and it's going to keep the life force moving through this life that you've created. So yeah, thank you so much, Pile 2. That was a really exciting and like momentous reading. I'm really excited for you and what you're accomplishing, and feel free to reach out to me if you want to directly, or just scope through my work if you're curious. And if not, have a lovely, lovely time, lovely day, and good luck with everything. Bye. Hello, Pile 3s. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to bring a little bit of dried lavender just to start the reading, cleanse the space a little bit. I grew this lavender myself in my garden, or rather my porch. So, tapping into your reading about inner barrier to success right now, I definitely got a pang in the heart space. That was really intense. Also, you'll have to forgive the lighting for this one. It's like very spooky. It makes the cards look glow in the dark. I had to sacrifice lighting for my phone battery, so bear with that. Hopefully you enjoy it. Yeah, so this is feeling right away. It's feeling like relationship themed or relational. Like there's something about people, I think. So I really feel like a lot of you who chose this pile have a relationship has ended, or you're feeling alone after something has shifted and changed, perhaps suddenly. It could be the lingering effects of a relationship that ended a while ago, or it could have just happened. This is about people and community and emotions, I really do think. And the heart space for sure. There has been some conflict, I think, in the past, probably around love or in love and relationships. With Daughters of the Red Tent, I usually think of this as women, you know, like this is the female space. This is about the places that we go to be in community with each other, especially when we find like-minded souls to be with. And I think that you were seeking that out. Oh, oof, that's it. Oh man, I felt that really strong. You're seeking community. Where you're at right now is the Hermit in reverse. I think that you are feeling perhaps kind of alone on your path, and like you've been soul seeking and soul searching for quite a while. And in some ways, you're just feeling lonely. I think that in some ways there's a sense of, I'm doing this all alone, and the path isn't really maybe giving you as what you really hope for and dream for or dream about. The main inner barrier to success is symbolized by this Ace of Pentacles here, which is, it's like life and value and real material things showing up in the world. I think that you have a strong connection to your desire and what you've been wanting, what you've been working towards, learning about, like you've been working on yourself. You've been on this self-learning journey, this healing journey, and discovering more about yourself, discovering your inner world, and learning about how to be compassionate to yourself and how to be kinder and more wise in your life and in your relationships. And still nothing shows up, you know. That's at least what you're feeling. That's what the inner barrier is. It's what the sensation inside you, that you feel that is what is. This is really interesting. Bear with me. So you inside your mind, inside your heart, yourself, your body, you feel like things are not showing up for you, right? And so you think that the people not being there, or the community not being there, the relationship not being there, the whatever you've been working towards growing into, it not showing up in reality, that is a sign that you are not successful, that it's a sign that this is not working. Do you see what I mean? It's not that like it's not that that's true. It's just that is your inner understanding of what is happening, is that because things aren't physically showing up in the way that you wish them to, or have been waiting for them to, that is a sign that it's not working, or that you're not successful. That seems, I can really feel my heart is in pain explaining that. I think that I want to cry right now. I think that that's something that makes you feel so sad. Or if it's not sad, it's just like really strong. So maybe it's just flowing through me as sadness, but it's just a very, very intense emotion. This need, this love of people, this need for the right community is really strong. And that's why this Three of Cups is at the top of your reading, in the sort of the ideal that you are meant to be focusing on and keeping your eye on, this keeping the vision of, while you move through this process of transforming your inner barriers to success. The vision that you're trying to keep you are actually being encouraged to keep your eye on is the Three of Cups, which is about community, love, friendship, fun, festivity, and coming together. This idea of like a happy family, or not a happy family per se, but like a chosen family, of a soul group of your people. Keep thinking about that. Keep holding that vision that is coming for you. You're not going to be alone at all. That is absolutely on the way. You're not going to be alone. But that is, I know that's how you're feeling, and I know that what the struggle is that it's not showing up yet. What can be grounding for you right now is this Five of Pentacles is the card, which is really interesting. Because the Five of Pentacles is usually about like a lack mentality and feeling really like left out in the cold, but I'm more drawn to the warmth of the window here. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so what I'm really getting is not the usual meaning of this card where there's two people outside in the cold. This is like, I'm seeing this as a vignette where the two people are walking around the corner to get inside this church and find warmth, right? They're going to the church. They're going to the benefit. They're going to the place where there's like free food and warmth, and somewhere where they can hang out and find that sense of relief for a minute. This is 100%, that's the message. What is grounding for you right now is like joining communities, joining groups, like go out there in the world and like go literally join a church group, or like something that happens inside a church, you know what I mean? Like whether that's even like freaking, like whether that's like AA or something, like some 12-step program that occurs inside a church. It doesn't have to be religious, but like a lot of community gatherings, maybe a dance troupe, something where they gather in a community building. Also, if you're watching this like now in the northern hemisphere, it's winter. So this could be a very literal card. Like go somewhere where it's cozy and warm and bright and there's other people there. Because like the process will remind you that you're not alone, and it will remind you that there are people out there that are doing similar things as you, or that are interested in similar things as you. And just by exposing yourself to those environments that aren't the one where you're alone at home, or you're alone feeling like kind of isolated, you're getting yourself out of that energy of lack and depression, and you're going to just, over time, it's just going to like prove itself to you that you're not alone, right? And that you're going to just fill up with that warmth. And of course, you might just meet people, you'll meet friends. So what will be grounding for you as you, in this next little while, is doing stuff like that, doing more community stuff. I understand that can be intimidating or a little scary sometimes, especially if you're going alone into a group of strangers. But it's worth it. It's totally worth it, and you're totally safe, especially if you choose to do things that are really resonate with you, that like really are tapping into something that you're passionate about. Then you are bolstered by your love of that thing. When you walk into those spaces, you will be already devoted and focused on whatever the common theme is, or whatever the thing is that you're doing. Like, let's say it's a class in something, like a class in ceramics or something. You don't have to be like talking to people if you have a little bit of social anxiety. Like, you don't have to worry about that. Just go into those spaces and just be there. You don't have to make all this effort. I do think with the Hermit card that a lot of you might be a little bit shy or a little bit timid with people. And if that's the case, and that's why you think that that's what the barrier is, it's like, how do I show up? Like, I don't know how to be in the real world with other people. Then this is a really important part of learning how to do that, is just exposing yourself gently to really friendly, warm, like literally warm environments where you can focus on something that you like doing, and then there's other people in there also doing that, and then over time you make connections and you just can feel a little more comfortable around with yourself and around others. That's going to make you feel a lot less isolated. What you can let go of right now, and this is the Tower in reverse card. So something that you can be letting go of is the feeling of I am really getting anxiety. Yeah. Anxiety that things are going to be bad forever. Anxiety that things always go wrong. Anxiety that see how things fell apart in the past. Things have hurt. Things have changed. Things have suddenly harmed me. I think that a lot of you, I'm going to pull cards in a bit for a healing process, but I think I'm already picking up on the fact that some of you might have some trauma or some PTSD from things that have happened, and that might be part of the problem of what you're feeling is making you struggle, or is holding you back from success with connections and community. You're kind of traumatized. You've had some stuff happen to you, or your life has unfolded in a way that's been actually quite shocking in certain scenarios, and damaging to your self-esteem and to your sense of safety in the world. And I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry if that's happened to you. No one should experience things like that, and some of us do, and it takes a long time to heal, and that's okay. And it's just step by step. But so this is not about like forcing yourself to do anything, but there is a big hefty process of letting go of your trauma, and we're going to have to get into that in a bit with the healing process, because that's going to be really significant on like how to do that and what that's going to look like. But that is for sure a part of that. That's basically the big thing around releasing the barrier that is stopping you from finding community or feeling connected to others. It's definitely rooted in past trauma for sure. And the other cards, like, they have stuff that also, the other piles in this reading, they also had stuff that occurred to them in the past, but yours is the pile that I'm really getting is like trauma, like a big deal, like it landed in you really, really, really intensely. It's very significant. It could be relational stuff specifically, or the world, like things changing really drastically, like either being abandoned by a partner or parents, or like having your world turned upside down in some way, literally, in relationships or at home when you were a kid, and like stuff like that, like where it was really, really hard at home, and where things changed really, drastically, and it upset your sense of trust in people and in the world, and that makes you feel anxious and freaked out now. This is like really, really strong, I'm feeling. And if it was just like a relationship that ended really badly too, that left you traumatized, like that's part of what you're being encouraged to start releasing, is like the lasting effects of that trauma, and really finding ways to to transform the pain and to like meet it where it is and then understand it and really rebuild your sense of trust in yourself and in others, and rebuild your sense of trust in the world, really, through healing trauma. That's a big process that we can do some of that together. But I would also recommend, if you have really heavy trauma, like really significant big T traumas that you've dealt with, to find a professional who is trained for years, trained in trauma therapy, and who has hopefully like a somatic approach, which incorporates the whole body as well as like everything that's going on in us. A professional like that will really be able to help you break through some of the symptoms that get lodged in the mind and in the body from experiencing traumatic things. But yeah, if you feel comfortable, if you feel drawn to, I do offer one-on-one coaching that is based in like depth psychology and somatic practices. And I'm trauma informed. I have a background in trauma informed somatic therapy, and we can work through some of that stuff. We can go into the deeper spaces within, and learn about what's going on down there in a gentle way and in a trauma-informed way, and help you to release some of the pain, so that you can really step into the life that you are dreaming of, and step into the relationships and the communities that you're dreaming of. So you can always reach out to me, or the info is available on my website and elsewhere, but that is a thing that you can check out if you want. So what you're being encouraged to open up to, let's say, an energy that you can open up to right now that's going to really be beneficial, is the Lovers and the Ace of Cups in reverse. So definitely right away, it's sort of like partnership, romance, love. If you haven't been dating, this is literally an encouragement to like start dating again. Be open to that process of opening up to people, opening up to conversation, to connection, to one-on-one or group connection. And the Lovers is about relationship at its core. It's about, or like a fundamental or universal archetype for relationship. It doesn't mean just like romantic relationship, although that's definitely like central to it. It's about intention and about choice, and paired with this Ace of Cups in reverse, which is sort of like this giving cup, the cup that spills over. There's an effusion here. I don't know, that word is a little bit weird, but that's what I'm getting. A fusion of like emotion and communication and love. Like, this is talk about yourself to people. Talk about your feelings to others. Communicate lovingly and openly with others. The Lovers card is also associated with Gemini and Hermes, or Mercury, which is the god of communication, the god of relationship, the god of twos and duos, and so much else. I could go into that, but that is part of the archetype that is associated here, is this partnership, the duality of things, and communicating inside that duality in order to connect and to stay connected. That's a big message here for you, to open up into that. And that might be scary. That totally might be scary. But it also is going to help you to gradually step into this, sort of to, first of all, dissolve the inner barriers, the belief that things aren't working out. The more that you do this, the more that inner belief will just sort of start to dissolve, right? So this is definitely, your reading for sure is more like, this is how you're thinking about things. This is how we can start to dissolve that and change that belief, change that pattern of thinking about things, because it's just not really helping. And there's so many things that can help you to feel better right now, and to help you to feel more connected, and to actually bring that that vision into reality for yourself. And yeah. So let's get right into the healing practice. Let's do that. What is the healing practice for pile 3 that we can offer to them? What is a healing practice? Perhaps it's connected to the tower. What is the healing practice for pile 3? For releasing inner barriers. What's the healing practice? What is the healing practice for pile 3? Oh, okay. Page of Swords in reverse. This is funny, these cards came up in a different way for pile 2, so you might also have been drawn to pile 2 for some reason. Don't force it though. If you're not, it's fine. This is just a coincidence maybe. So Page of Swords in reverse, a healing practice. Okay, I'm getting journaling right off the bat, so I'll just say that. Journaling will be really helpful. Of course, everything I talked about before about trauma therapy, that's also, we need to remember that that's a big, big healing practice and also definitely going to be helpful here. But in terms of this Page of Swords with the 2 of Pentacles in reverse, that's like, this is about journaling. This is for sure about going over and over. It's automatic writing, okay? I'm going to get really specific here. So a healing practice, I love this. I love when things get specific. So a healing practice that you can do right now is automatic writing. Sorry, I got interrupted by my roommate for a sec, so that's what that cut out was. But anyway, yeah, automatic writing. So it's just a specific form of journaling where you crack open the book and you just start writing, and you can just start, you write like nonsense, like just whatever is coming to your brain, even if it doesn't make any sense at all, just go, and do like 3 pages or like 1 page, whatever you feel is manageable, and do that regularly. Do it every morning or do it every afternoon or every evening or something. That I think is going to help you just to get all the crap and the crud that lingers in your mind that makes you feel like things aren't working. It's just going to get it out on the page. I also think like there's probably so many different, I mean, I know that there are so many different journaling practices that are available. So experiment, find different things to experiment with and to play with and see what feels good, and just keep doing that, keep writing. I think that the reason why I brought up automatic writing is because with the 2 of Pentacles in reverse, it's like there's this this need to just like to get it all out on the page and to keep the momentum going. And it can be really helpful when we just have a lot in our brains and we just need to get it out. Sometimes getting out the negative thoughts is really helpful. It's not like it's not this bullshit, sorry, but like if you're writing about stuff that sucks, like if you're journaling with the intention of getting the negative thinking kind of like out on the page so you can see it with clarity, that's not going to manifest more negativity. The intention behind what you're doing is to understand yourself more, and that is only going to create more like connection to the universe and alignment with yourself. So don't feel afraid that like the more that you, like if you're journaling about like bad thoughts and like you're like, I feel like shit, blah blah blah, and you're getting it out, like you're not going to be actually making more of that. This is a practice of release and relief for yourself. What else? This is the Page of Swords. It's definitely about thoughts and communication, but in reverse it's like internal thinking, like internal thoughts, like not necessarily sending them out, but maybe doing it for the self, right? Reading back on things that you have written, reading back on your progress once you're making progress through your journaling, that can be really helpful. Let's see what else. Also writing down what it is that you do like and what you do want in relationships and elsewhere in your life, making lists of things, making lists of qualities that you appreciate in partners and people and friends, and then applying that to yourself and applying that to how you're also going to show up in the world and how you are showing up for others. So everything that you write down about what you want, you then also apply to yourself, and you fulfill that for yourself first, and then from there you attract people who also have those qualities. Feel free to express yourself as well. This is really, really big. Like, the more that you express yourself in speech and on the page, the more that you will feel that well, first of all, you will start drawing in people that are drawn to your authentic energy, but you'll feel happier about the fact that you're being yourself and that you're really knowing yourself and you're understanding yourself. This is about self-investigation, self-learning, self-knowledge, through the intellect, through applying the intellect, through applying your voice, your speech, your investigative powers, and learning about yourself, thinking about that, analyzing it. And I know, like, there's a fine line between overthinking but this, I think you have, the people who are tapping into this reading, I think you have like a very strong mind, a very strong intellect, which is why you've been alone, but I think you've been following these beautiful tracks of learning and study and investigation in yourself and others. You've been doing a lot of inner growth. I think you already know about all this stuff. You know how to talk to yourself, how to look inward and analyze. And I think that your healing practice is really just about continuing to do that in a way that is beneficial. I think maybe you already have a long-standing journaling practice, perhaps, and just to keep doing that. Keep doing it because it helps you understand yourself. Oh my God, I really, really feel for you guys. I feel for you. Not in I feel your energy so strongly, and I feel what you're feeling, and I just want to send all the love to you in the world. I love you so much. I really do. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. Oh, thank you for being here. It's been such a joy to read for you, and I hope that you find everything that you wish for, and that you vision for yourself and for your life, and that connection and that fun and that community and security in people and in relationships, in the world in general. The safety of that is so beautiful and so important, and I hope that you find that. I mean, I know you will. I just feel I just want to say, I'm excited for you to be opening up to that, and I'm sorry that it feels hard sometimes, or that you had experiences that have made that feel hard, if it does. And I want you to experience this, and I pray for you and in your journey, because I love you and thank you for being here. Oh my goodness gracious, what a lovely, lovely time. Thank you for all your attention, and if you want to reach out, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, have a lovely, lovely day or evening or month or wherever. Thank you for being here. Bye.